So let's start off by taking a look at a game called Modelista. I picked this up from a charity shop about 3 years ago for 50p, and when I picked it up I thought to myself, well, 50p, bit of fodder, can't go wrong, I don't have it, add it to the collection. But since then I've took a look on the CEX website and they charge quite a bit for this, so calling this one fodder might be my ignorance, but we're going to give it a go anyway. Produced by Capcom in 2002, as soon as you turn this on you are smacked in the face with that arcade classic feel. The music's that sort of techno feel to it. It's a really simplistic menu screen. Car selection isn't too bad. You've got what you'd expect at the time, Toyota, Honda, but straight away it gives you that simple feel of being in the arcades, late 90s, early 2000s. It's a real smack of nostalgia the second you turn this one on. As soon as you get into the gameplay, the music carries on, gives a great atmosphere, but it's got a beautiful cell shading graphic style to it, which gives it a sort of anime feel as soon as you get going, which is really good. It's really helped it hold up really well. The voiceover again is that classic arcade voiceover that you know so well. It brings back so many good memories, really good feeling. The courses and the background and the cars, they pop really well because it uses really bright colours all over the screen, so it's really inviting to look at. As you pick up speed, little white lines come all around the car to demonstrate your speed increasing. It's really effective. It's ever so subtle. It's just a small little thing, but that anime style, it really helps the game. It's really appealing. Again, really nice to look at, really pulls your attention to it. Modelista is a fantastic arcade racer on the PS2. The cel-shaded graphics with the anime twist has helped it hold up really well. You don't know the age of this when you're playing it. The controls are fantastic. It's exactly what you want to be playing. If you want a big hit of nostalgia to go back to the arcades, this is the game for you. It really warrants the price that it's currently got over in places like CEX. It's a fantastic game and I can't believe I thought this was fodder.
Hey there, I'm Britney Spears. My world tour is starting soon, so I'm holding auditions around the country to find the best dancers. Since I spend so much time on the road with my dancers, they're like my family. So if you think you've got what it takes, let's see what you can do.
Britney's dance beat. She's young, beautiful and talented. Her dance moves are as hot as her songs, but only the best dancers can join Britney on her world tour. See if you have what it takes to back her up. And that is it summed up quite nicely on the back, I feel there. And as many of you would have guessed, it is of course a rhythm game with a Britney Spears skin on it, made by THQ in 2002. It starts off with a character model of Britney, which is actually quite good for the time. I knew who I was looking at straight away. Her accent is a little thick. I'm not sure if it's that thick in real life, but yeah, good character model. The graphics don't seem too bad for this day and age. Simple plot to this one. You are a backup dancer by trade and you want to get a job on the Britney tour. So you're going to have to show up, audition, do a number of auditions against other candidates and hope that you are successful, get the job. Gameplay is simple. Like all rhythm games, there is a circle in the bottom corner with an arrow that goes round. You have to time your button clicks to make sure you click the right button at the right time to get the maximum score. If your score is high enough, you progress to the next audition. It is as simple as that. The only thing that really makes this game stand out from other rhythm games is the fact that they've got the Britney Spears license. So you do get to dance in time to some classic Britney Spears songs from the early 2000s, which is a nice little nostalgia trip. But apart from that, gameplay wise, there's nothing real special going on here. One thing that doesn't make sense to me is Britney Spears shows up towards the end of every song I've done so far and dances alongside you. The whole point of the game is to audition for the opportunity to dance with Britney at her stage tour. So yeah, it's only a little thing and I'm probably reading too much in it, but it's actually throwing me quite a bit having that happen all the time. This game is not as bad as I thought it was going to be when I turned it on. It's nothing special whatsoever for a rhythm game. There's no real reason for me to come back other than the Britney Spears license, but if you're a Britney fan, you'll have fun with this one. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Chaos Bleeds. I was a massive Buffy fan back in the day, used to watch it every week when it was on. I picked this up from the car boot for just a couple of pence many years ago. I looked at it, thought that's going to be awful, put it on the shelf, I'll keep it because it's Buffy, never looked at it since, so fingers crossed this one's half decent. Straight away at the title screen, it starts by playing the theme tune from the show and it really takes you back, smacks you in the face with nostalgia and really gets you in the mood for playing a Buffy game. So the original cast appear to have come back to do the voice acting for this game, which is quite nice. The voice acting is not fantastic by any stretch of the imagination. It's not really up to the standards you'd expect for today. However, hearing the original voice cast and not them butchered by other actors is very nice. It really, again, draws you into that Buffy world. The graphics have held up just about okay. You can tell who all the characters are supposed to be easy enough. The vampires do look like they should from the show. They've all got those weird foreheads and the funny noses, so you know you're playing a Buffy game. But yeah, the graphics aren't terrible, but they're just hanging on. The controls are quite difficult, I must say. It's very difficult to sort of lock on to an enemy and attack them. Basic buttons, square and X, kick and punch, and then you've got a stake button on the back triggers. But yeah, you can't really lock onto them as you're playing. You've got to sort of awkwardly move the analog stick to face them. I don't know if there's a lock on button. If there is, I cannot find it. The sound effects are very good in this game. It sounds just like the old episodes of Buffy. That sound that they used to make when they were staked, that little puff sound, that's fantastically captured in this game. The punching and the kicks and the groaning is a bit strange. However, everything else, that theme tune in the background, spot on. In the first 20 minutes to turn it on, you're able to play as all of the supporting cast. So there's of course Buffy, Willow, Xander and the man Spike. They're all slightly different controls and abilities. Obviously Willow has magic, Spike's a bit more of a tank, but the fact that you get to play as all the characters is a real big bonus, and I'm really looking forward to playing a bit more of Spike. Thankfully, this is a decent game. It does a fantastic job of capturing the essence of the show and making you feel like you are playing a game of Buffy. It's got all the hallmarks of the show. It's really enjoyable. I've been playing it for a little while now and I'm not eager to turn it off. I want to play a little bit more of it, and that's what's important. So yeah, Buffy Chaos Bleeds, not a bad game at all. Battlestar Galactica, released in 2003 by Universal Studios. I have never watched an episode of Battlestar Galactica, so I've gone into this one not really knowing what to expect. The game does take some liberties, assuming that you're familiar with the Battlestar Galactica series, which makes sense, because if you were paying for this back in the day, you probably were. But for someone like myself today, I don't really know what's happening. We're just diving straight into the game here. The opening cutscene is not the greatest. The graphics have not held up very well at all. The faces look very contorted, very off-putting. The background is very grey, very dull. I don't know if that really matches the theme of Battlestar Galactica, the show, but it is quite off-putting. The first thing I noticed when you actually start the game is the pre-rendered background. They're actually quite nice to look at. They've held up quite well. The actual graphics of the ships aren't too bad either. They're quite simplistic. There's not too much going on, which has helped them stand the test of time, I believe. The sound effects as well aren't too bad. They're actually quite good. The controls, I'm not really fair to comment because I am terrible at these flight simulator kind of games. I just cannot control the thing whatsoever. I get frustrated after about 5 minutes of gameplay. But for some reason, this game's growing on me. I'm actually finding myself enjoying it quite a bit, which I find odd. I'm getting used to the controls. I'm actually getting a little bit better. I'm actually managing to actually shoot some things out the sky. It's drawing my attention, and I don't really know why. It is quite enjoyable. There's a lot going on, but not too much that I'm sort of getting confused. The control system is going to take a little while to get used to. There's different variations. You have to move power from one part of the ship to the next. So there is a bit of strategy involved in this one, which I think is actually helping me enjoy this game a bit more. I feel like if I knew a little bit more about Battlestar Galactica, I might enjoy this one a bit more too. I feel like just my ignorance to the series is not helping. Although I'm not a massive fan of flight simulators, for some reason this one's actually half decent once you get into it. It is literally like the old version of Star Wars Squadrons. If you're looking for a retro version of that game, this one's probably going to fit the bill. Bratz Rock Angelz, developed by THQ in 2005, and it is of course a game adapted from the popular toy range, which was very popular in the early 2000s. Getting into this one, I know straight away I am not the target market for this game, and I'm only just a few minutes in and I'm already sort of switched off from it. It's really not designed for someone like myself. I won't spend too much time on this one. All the general bits of it seem to be absolutely fine. There's nothing offensive here. It controls okay. They're a bit skiddy when you run around, but the controls aren't bad. The graphics are perfectly fine. You know you're looking at a Bratz doll. The sound and the music is okay. Everything's okay here. Nothing real stand out, but nothing offensive either. The thing that really stands out about this game is the plot and the ideals behind it. It's very superficial. I'm not sure this would really stand up today. It's all about making sure your hair's as pretty as it is, your dress is prettier than the other girls, make sure your makeup's correct for the event. It's all a little superficial, and I think that if you were to stick this in front of the target market today, it would probably miss. These games do go for a little bit, but I think it's feeding off that nostalgia hit. There's nothing wrong with Bratz Rock Angelz, it's just not for me. If you used to play with the dolls back in the day, you might get some enjoyment out of this one, but for me personally, it's one that'll just be going back on the shelf and never played again. BCV Battle Construction Vehicles, developed by Midas in 2003. As soon as you get started, you are met with a beautiful anime style cutscene. The story is told through this early 2000s anime cartoon, and it is beautiful to look at. It was really surprising to see this on this game. The plot just seems a little bit crazy. So your father owns a construction company. You start off by speaking to your butler, and he's telling you that it's your duty, your honor to your father to keep his construction company going by basically taking construction vehicles out and beating the crap out of other construction companies. That is pretty much what I can gather here. And the whole opening cutscene is topped off by this fantastic, stereotypical, over-the-top English accent. It's absolutely terrible, but amazing at the same time.
Shut it, Gramps!
Soon as the game starts though, that's where the problems come in with this one. The gameplay is terrible. The controls are awful. There's no real tutorial into what you're supposed to be doing. You just sort of, I can't tell what I'm supposed to be doing. I've been playing this for a little while. There's only a few buttons. There seems to be like this attack which things just shoot up around your vehicle. Can't really tell how much damage I'm supposed to be doing. The graphics aren't fantastic. The background's well, it's a construction site. There's not much to it, but they haven't tried to make it entertaining. This one, yeah, the gameplay isn't fantastic, unfortunately. I think the thing with this game is it's all hinging on that ridiculous plot. The whole concept of a battle construction vehicles going out and attacking other big steamrollers and bulldozers and all these sort of things is where the enjoyment lies. The gameplay is not fantastic, but I do want to play a little bit more, see if it gets any better, and just see some more of this ridiculous plot.